Val Kilmer, a Maverick's Requiem, more than just a Huckleberry. Ever met a star that burned so bright it felt like a personal supernova? Val Kilmer wasn't just a name on a marquee. He was a force of nature, a chameleon of charisma, and a soul that poured itself into every role. Today, we don't just mourn his passing, we celebrate the incandescent legacy of a true original. Val Edward Kilmer, a name synonymous with talent, wasn't born into Hollywood royalty. Hailing from the San Fernando Valley, his journey was one of relentless passion and unwavering dedication. His father, an aerospace equipment distributor, and his mother, a beacon of spiritual strength, nurtured a young Val whose heart beat to the rhythm of storytelling. At the tender age of 21, Kilmer shattered expectations, becoming the youngest inductee into Juilliard's hallowed drama program. Juilliard, a crucible where dreams are forged and legends are born, became his training ground. His fervor was palpable, his commitment absolute. Even then, it was clear, Val Kilmer was destined for greatness. While his peers indulged in youthful escapades, Val immersed himself in the works of Chekhov and Shakespeare, directing off-Broadway productions with a fervor that bordered on religious zeal. Poetry was his scripture, rehearsals his sacred rituals. He carried within him a burning desire to breathe life into stories, to transcend the ordinary. Driven by an insatiable thirst for knowledge, he would often sneak onto film sets, a silent observer, absorbing the nuances of the craft. He yearned not for fleeting fame, but for enduring greatness, a burning ambition that coursed through his veins like liquid fire. Then, in 1984, destiny came knocking. His debut role in Top Secret, a Zucker Brothers comedic masterpiece, demanded a unique blend of singing prowess, physical comedy, and the ability to lampoon spy movies while channeling Elvis and dodging bovine obstacles. Val, unfazed, embraced the challenge with gusto. He wasn't just funny, he was fearless. He sang every note, mastered German phonetically, and performed his own stunts. The film, though whimsical, hinted at a profound truth. Val Kilmer would never settle for mediocrity. What followed was a dazzling array of roles, each showcasing a different facet of his multifaceted talent. Val Kilmer defied categorization, refusing to be confined by the narrow walls of typecasting. One moment, he was the smooth-talking genius in Real Genius, the next, a brooding figure in a noir thriller, or a rock legend pouring his soul into song. He was restless, driven by an insatiable artistic hunger, not in a chaotic sense, but in the way of a true artist, always seeking, always exploring, always pushing the boundaries of his craft. In 1986, Top Gun exploded onto the cinematic landscape, igniting a global obsession with fighter pilots, aviator sunglasses, and volleyball montages. While Tom Cruise embodied the rebellious charm of Maverick, Val Kilmer's Iceman was the epitome of cool, a paragon of icy perfection. He wasn't a villain, but the embodiment of discipline, the strategist who played the long game, and yet, somehow, managed to outshine everyone in the room. And when Iceman uttered those iconic words, "You can be my wingman anytime," history was made. Teenage boys etched it into their notebooks, fathers echoed it at barbecues, and perhaps even a few couples incorporated it into their wedding vows. The role catapulted him to superstardom, etching his name into the collective consciousness. But Kilmer refused to rest on his laurels. He sought challenges, pushing himself beyond the confines of his newfound fame. Decades later, in Top Gun Maverick, Kilmer returned, his voice silenced by illness, his health fragile. Yet, in those 5 minutes of screen time, he conveyed more emotion than most actors could muster in a 2-hour monologue. It wasn't about the words, but about the sheer power of his presence. That was Val's gift, always. The film handled his return with grace and sensitivity, bringing Iceman back not as a mere nostalgic cameo, but as the emotional bedrock of the story, Maverick's anchor. The scene between Cruise and Kilmer transcended acting. It was a poignant reunion between two friends, two icons, two survivors, sharing the screen one last time. Let's delve into the realm of capes and cowls. Batman Forever, 1995, saw Val Kilmer don the mantle of the most iconic character in comic book history. Donning the Batman suit is more than just looking the part. It's about commanding a room with the sheer force of your presence, with the strength of your jawline. Val infused the role with a unique depth, portraying Bruce Wayne not as a carefree billionaire playboy, but as a haunted, broken soul seeking solace. He possessed the swagger, yes, but also a profound sadness. You could feel the weight of the cape, the burden of responsibility. And it worked. He presented a Batman who was enigmatic, brooding, and perhaps more human than we had ever seen before. He brought gravitas to a film that teetered precariously between dark drama and campy neon. While the experience left him disillusioned, the suit was heavy, restrictive, isolating. He gave it his all. He later described the experience as feeling more like a prop than a person. But that wasn't a failure, it was a sacrifice. He carried the character with dignity, even if Hollywood didn't always reciprocate. Let us pause to pay homage to Tombstone, 1993. His portrayal of Doc Holliday stands as one of the greatest Western performances ever captured on film. Witty, broken, romantic, and facing his own mortality, he was the gunslinger poet, the drunkard with depth, and every single line was iconic. I'm your Huckleberry. Is there a cooler line in cinematic history? No, absolutely not. Kilmer's Holliday was more than just a gunslinger. He was a philosopher, a sick man with an indomitable spirit. He didn't just recite the lines, he savored them, relishing their every nuance. The role demanded swagger, charm, pain, and a touch of the divine. Kilmer delivered it all, and then some. Then came The Doors, 1991, where he underwent a complete transformation, morphing into Jim Morrison. This wasn't just about wigs and tight leather pants. He sang the vocals, he embodied the madness. Even members of The Doors confessed that watching Val was like being haunted by the ghost of Morrison himself. And of course, Heat, a Michael Mann masterpiece starring Pacino and De Niro. To merely survive in a film alongside those two legends is an achievement in itself. But Kilmer did more than survive. He thrived. He played a bank robber with a ponytail and sorrowful eyes, a character you simultaneously loved and feared. He was electric. This was Val in the 90s, untouchable, unpredictable, unforgettable. Then there was the island of Dr. Moreau. Perhaps the less said, the better. But we won't shy away from the truth. Val signed on to work with the legendary Marlon Brando. It should have been a symphony of brilliance, but instead, it descended into chaos. Brando's appearances were sporadic. Kilmer clashed with the director. The set was a maelstrom of dysfunction. It became infamous. But even amidst the turmoil, Val persevered, striving for art, for brilliance. Sometimes, that pursuit comes at a cost. He also graced us with The Saint, The Ghost, and The Darkness and Wonderland, each showcasing different facets of his talent. Some were commercial successes, others cult classics, but all were undeniably Val. And let's not forget Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, a film that reminded audiences of Kilmer's comedic brilliance and razor-sharp wit. His portrayal of Gay Perry was hilarious, acerbic, and deeply memorable. Kilmer was more than just a movie star. He was an artist, a thinker, a Renaissance man. He conceived and performed a one-man stage show, Citizen Twain, about Mark Twain himself. He self-funded it, directed it, and lived it, breathing life into the iconic American author. He also created Val, a documentary composed of personal home videos, behind-the-scenes moments, and reflections narrated by his son, Jack Kilmer. If you haven't seen it, seek it out. It's raw, beautiful, and unflinchingly honest. Within its frames, you'll witness the laughter that masked the pain, the man behind the myth. You'll see him filming himself behind the scenes on Top Gun, sharing camaraderie with the crew, engaging in snowball fights with his children. You'll see him dreaming, always dreaming. And throughout it all, a quiet whisper echoes, "I'm not done." When Kilmer was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014, he didn't retreat into the shadows. He fought with unwavering courage through chemotherapy, surgeries, and the eventual loss of his voice. He didn't believe in death, but in transformation. He spoke of love, of peace, of grace. His children, Jack and Mercedes, stood by him, not just as family, but as collaborators. Mercedes acted alongside him in Pay Dirt. Jack lent his voice to Val's lines in Val and the Willow series. His legacy is secure, thriving in the hands of his loving family. And perhaps that's the ultimate lesson. Val Kilmer didn't just act. He lived fully, loudly, even in silence. Val Kilmer taught us that true coolness isn't about sunglasses or six-pack abs. It's about soul. It's about daring to be strange, to be vulnerable, to be real. He gave us heroes. He gave us misfits. He gave us legends. And now, as we bid him farewell, we don't mourn an ending, but celebrate a journey, a life lived with passion and purpose. So go back, rewatch Tombstone, crank up the doors, revisit Top Gun. And when you do, look beyond the roles and see the man behind the performance, the fighter, the poet, the Huckleberry. If this story resonated with you, if it touched your heart, or even brought a smile to your face, please give that like button a tap. It's like a secret handshake, signaling to YouTube that this video deserves to be shared with other kindred spirits. Plus, it makes the algorithm happy, and we all know a happy algorithm is a generous one. Don't forget to share this video with your fellow film buffs and Kilmer fans, comment with your favorite Val Kilmer moment, and subscribe to Trending Moment Now for more stories that matter, more legends remembered, and more moments that deserve to live on. Val, thank you for the magic, for the madness, for the memories. You can be our wingman anytime.